If you're a Mormon, you have probably never heard of this man, Matthew Gill. Who is Matthew Gill? Well, he is the founder and prophet of a new church called the Latter-day Church of Jesus Christ, based here in the UK. Now, some people will call this a breakaway group from the main Utah-based Mormon church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And of course, that church, that group, is no stranger to breakaway churches. Ever since its beginning in its history, a number of churches have broke away from it. Probably one of the most significant ones is the reorganised Church of Jesus Christ, now called the Community of Christ. The Church of Christ Temple Lot is another one. But apparently there are about 100 different breakaway groups in America alone. A lot of them polygamist groups, a lot of them believing in blood atonement and rejecting the teachings of the main Utah-based church. But here in the UK, breakaway groups from the Mormon Church are quite unusual, and as far as I understand, this is the first one. Now, what has this man got to do with present-day Mormons? Not a lot, really, on the one hand, because they would probably just ignore him. But on the other hand, he is quite significant in a way, because the claims that he makes are virtually identical to the claims that Joseph Smith made in his own day. So a lot of Mormons tend to give Christians a hard time for not accepting Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. But on the other hand, we've got to ask, well, if Christians reject the Book of Mormon and the claims of Joseph Smith, then why do you guys reject Matthew Gill and his message and his revelations and his claims to be a prophet? Now, we'll look into that a little bit more in a moment, but what I'd like to do just for now is just basically read through some research that I've put together based on the YouTube videos that Matthew Gill has out there, and it's just some information from his website, and I'll just put that together. If any of this is not accurate, by the way, then I apologise in advance, but I have tried to be as accurate as possible. I've tried to be fair to this man and his movements, and I'm just trying to give the facts as I see that they are giving. Some of the facts are a little bit hazy, and I'm open to correction if I've got anything wrong, but anyway, here we go. Matthew Gill is brought up in a Mormon family, and he was taught to have respect for the Book of Mormon and the prophet Joseph Smith. Now, he eventually gets to an age where he feels as though he needs to read the Book of Mormon for himself, so he set about one night to stay up and to read right through it in one sitting. He apparently encounters some sort of spiritual resistance to this, but manages to work through it. He gets quite tired as well, he manages to work through that. And at the end of reading the Book of Mormon in one night, he is overjoyed, and the angel Moroni appears to him, shows him some golden plates, apparently the same plates that Joseph Smith was originally shown. Now, Moroni tells him that the things that he has read in the Book of Mormon are true, and he's then informed that he has been chosen to do a work in our day which would be similar to what Joseph Smith did in his own day, and that this would be revealed more at a later time by another messenger who would come to him. But in the meantime, Gill was to remain obedient to God, to be faithful in reading and studying the Book of Mormon, and to obey his parents. Now, Gill tells his father about this experience and others, and they accept it as being of God, but others say that this is all of the devil. Now, if you're a Mormon, does any of this sound familiar so far? It should do, because this is exactly what happened to Joseph Smith, more or less. But reading on, we fast forward. Gill grows up, meets his wife, and in 2005 he claims that Moroni's promise that God would send another messenger is fulfilled, because one evening the angel Raphael appears to Gill and tells him about a work that he is to do and a book that would soon be given to him that would speak about the people who once inhabited England, and that this book would be a further witness to Jesus Christ. Again, does any of this sound familiar if you're a Mormon? Again, it should do. It's the same kind of thing that happened to Joseph Smith. So as time goes on, Gill is visited many more times by the angel Raphael, and he's given revelations and commandments until the time that he is given a book called the Book of Jeraneck. Now, Gill was eventually given the plates of the Book of Jeraneck at his parents' house when a being called Jeraneck called at the door and gave them to Gill in a box. Now, Gill claims to still have these plates, and he claims that others have handled them and have bore witness to them, although under the covering of a cloth. This is all explained in his video, The Book of Jeraneck Explained, Part 3. Who exactly this being, Jeraneck, is not quite clear. I had some email dialogue with Mr. Gill, and he said that this being is a translated being. Not sure whether he meant an angel or some sort of superhuman creature of some sort or whatever. And I don't say that disrespectfully, you know, I'm just not quite sure about what he means regarding that. But yeah, the golden plates are given in a box to him on the doorstep of his parents' house, apparently. So again, does any of this sound familiar if you're a Mormon? Golden plates, angels, boxes, other revelations. Now Gill is now the prophet of this church, the Latter-day Church of Jesus Christ. And Gill encourages people to read the Book of Jeraneck and to get a testimony of it. He says that if you read, then God will bear witness that it's true. And this is explained in his YouTube video, The Book of Jeraneck Explained, Part 1. Now, of course, Utah-based Mormons, the main Mormon church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, would reject this totally. They would probably say that the guy is a false prophet, that he's wrong, that he's of the devil. But we've got to ask ourselves why. I mean, incidentally, I don't agree with Matthew Gill or anything that he says. He may have made the whole thing up. The Bible tells us that there'll be people that will come in the last days that will exploit us with stories that they have simply made up. Maybe he did have some sort of spiritual experiences, but he has misinterpreted these, and they are indeed of the devil. Either way, I don't agree with them. I don't accept him as a prophet, don't get me wrong. So I'm with you guys, the Mormons, on this. But can you see the problem if you're a Mormon here? You can't reject Matthew Gill and his story of golden plates and angels and being a prophet of this new church. You can't reject what he says and at the same time hold on to Joseph Smith and condemn people in the Christian churches for not accepting Joseph Smith or the Book of Mormon. A lot of the Mormon missionaries that I have spoken to will sort of put me on a bit of a guilt trip for not praying about the Book of Mormon, or believing that prophets like Joseph Smith come about today and that we have extra revelations that should be canonized, that should be accepted as scripture. So let me just turn this around to you guys now. If that's the case, if I reject Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon and the message of golden plates and the angel Moroni, etc., then on what basis do you guys condemn me and other Christians for not accepting Joseph Smith when you yourselves will reject Matthew Gill as a prophet and his witness of the Book of Jeraneck and his claims to have the golden plates and to be a prophet today? It's exactly the same kind of scenario that the Mormon Church posed to people in the Christian churches, and I would be very interested to know how you guys respond to this, what your take is on it, and look forward to hearing from you.